Salve omnes, it's Magister Compton again, and we're going to talk about the second of the topics today, and that's the partitive constructions. So what does it mean to say something is partitive? That's how you show a portion of a larger whole or a larger group. So the partitive, the part, is going to be whatever case it needs to be, accusative, nominative, whatever. But the larger whole, the thing that it's a part of, that's going to be genitive or ablative. So, what are the two cases? As I just mentioned, they're going to be genitive or they're going to be ablative. The genitive usually gets used with words like pars or nihil, and with pronouns like quis. So that new interrogative pronoun that we saw in our vocab list can take a partitive genitive. If you remember our pronouns from a few chapters ago, you remember that nos and vos had two genitives, had nostri and westri, and then nostrum and westrum. Well, this is where the nostrum and westrum come into use. Those are the partitive genitives. So if you say some of us, you would say nostrum, or some of you would be westrum. The other one is that objective genitive, love of us, love of you, fear of us. That's where you'd say nostri and westri as an objective genitive. Nostrum and westrum, the ones we care about right now, as the partitive genitives. So here's an example of a partitive genitive you might see. Pars oppidi, a part of the town. So what's the part? Well, pars. In this case, it's in the nominative case. What's the whole? The town. So the whole, oppidi, gets put in the genitive. Another example, quem vestrum, whom of you. So what's the part? Quem, whom. What's the whole? You. So it's whom of you. Here's one more. Nihil periculi. What's the part? Nothing, nihil. What's the whole? Periculi, danger. So nothing of danger would be the partitive genitive here. The other case you can use is the ablative case. And so in these situations, you're going to take an ablative paired with the de or ex preposition. And this is usually used with our cardinal counting numbers, unus, duo, tres, and with the adjective pauci. So here's an example, tres de militibus, 3 from the soldiers. So what's the part? Tres, 3. What's the whole? The soldiers. So we're talking about 3 from that group. If you want to say of in this instance, you could do that because that's kind of how partitives work in English. So we can be flexible on that. Another example, pauci e nobis, a few from us. So again, what's the part? Pauci, few. What's the whole? Us. So the whole goes into the ablative, and the few is whatever it needs to be. If the word is multi, you could use that with either the genitive or the ablative. It's kind of a coin toss, your call. So you could say multi ducum, many of the leaders. You could also say multi e ducibus, many from or many of the leaders. Either way, we're okay with it. All right, so the key thing to remember is depending on what the part is, that's what kind of case your partitive is going to take. If your part is a word like quis, or if it's nihil, or some other kind of adjective like that, your part is going to be, or if it's just a plain noun, that can also be true, then your partitive is going to be a genitive. If your part is a counting number like 3, or the word pauci, your partitive is going to be ablative. Okay? But you treat them pretty much the same way. You say of the larger thing or from the larger thing if it's ablative. Okay? And that's it for partitives. So you've got the Magistrula sentences to practice on. Some will have partitive genitives, some will have partitive ablatives. Really, you can kind of treat them all the same way. But again, the goal is we want you to see how Latin expresses the portion of a larger whole. That's what partitive constructions are for. All right, until later, that concludes the grammar for chapters 28 and 29. Vale te omnes.